Askari wanapiga mtu bure bwana. Specs hapo. Specs. Usiniletee kama mjinga na mwenyewe anaona polisi anakimbia. Kwa hiyo. Wote ndani ya.
In the annals of Kenya's political history, few names command the kind of respect, admiration, and awe as James Aggrey Bob Orengo, a man whose voice has thundered in the corridors of justice, a rebel with a cause, and a legal titan who stood firm when others bowed. This is his story. Born in 1941 in Ugenya, Siaya County, Orengo's political journey began long before he held public office. At the University of Nairobi, he quickly rose through the student leadership ranks, ultimately becoming the president of the student union. It was in these lecture halls and assembly grounds that Orengo first earned his stripes, not through violence, but through powerful oratory and fearless dissent. He openly criticized the government of Jomo Kenyatta, denouncing growing authoritarianism and tribalism. At a time when political opposition was criminalized, Orengo stood up and spoke out. He would become one of the youngest members of parliament at just 29 years old, elected in 1980 to represent Ugenya constituency, a constituency that would remain his political home for decades. In parliament, Orengo joined forces with a radical crop of young legislators who shook the status quo. Alongside Koigi wa Wamwere, Chelagat Mutai, Abdilatif Abdallah, Mwashengu wa Mwachofi, and Lawrence Sifuna, they earned the nickname the Seven Bearded Sisters, a dismissive but ultimately iconic label coined by the then Attorney General Charles Jonjo, meant to mock their unrelenting opposition. But the name stuck, and with time, it came to symbolize their unbreakable courage and defiance. But the 1980s in Kenya were a dark time. The Moi regime tightened its grip, silencing dissenters and torturing activists and jailing critics. Orengo, by then deeply entangled in Kenya's second liberation movement, was arrested and detained without trial multiple times. His crime being a call for multiple democracy, fair governance, and an end to repression. He stood shoulder to shoulder with other icons like Raila Odinga, Kenneth Matiba, and Charles Rubia, enduring police brutality, solitary confinement, and unending state surveillance. But even jail cells could not dim his voice. If anything, it sharpened his resolve. In the midst of this rising storm came a defining moment, Saba Saba, the 7th of July 1990. It was a date that would forever alter the course of Kenya's struggle for democracy. James Orengo was at the heart of it all. Together with Raila Odinga, Martin Shikuku, Gitobu Imanyara, Jeru Kathangu, and others, Orengo helped organize one of the most defiant, courageous protests in post-independence Kenya, calling for an end to one-party rule and demanding multi-party democracy. What started as peaceful rally at Kamukunji grounds in Nairobi turned bloody as the state unleashed brute force on thousands of Kenyans. Protesters were tear gassed, beaten, and arrested. Dozens were killed, hundreds were wounded, and many more, including Orengo, were hunted and detained. But the courage displayed that day ignited a nationwide flame. Saba Saba became a symbol not of violence but of awakening. The struggle shifted, the world took notice, and the fight of political pluralism in Kenya could no longer be silenced. Orengo's role in the Saba Saba movement cemented his place as a defender of democracy, not in theory, but in blood, sacrifice, and lived resistance. James Orengo is not just a politician. He is among the most formidable legal minds in Kenyan history. He was instrumental in some of Kenya's most consequential legal battles, a founding partner of Orengo and Otieno advocates, and later an ally of legal crusaders like Paul Mwite. Orengo helped shape the legal architecture of modern Kenya. In courtrooms, he is legendary. His wit, command of the constitution, and razor-sharp arguments have saved lives, shaped justice, and protected democracy. One of his most visible moments came during the 2017 presidential election petition, where he formed part of Raila Odinga's legal team that successfully challenged the election results. It was the first time in Africa that a sitting president's election was nullified in court, and Orengo was at the center of it all. In 2002, with the fall of Kanu regime, Orengo was part of the National Rainbow Coalition (NARC), the wave that swept Moi Kibaki into power. Though he lost his Ugenya seat in that election, he would return to parliament in 2007. Shortly after, he was appointed as the Minister for Lands in the Grand Coalition government, a tenure marked by bold attempts to address land corruption despite facing stiff resistance. In 2013 and 2017, he was elected to the Senate as a Siaya senator, serving as a minority leader, often regarded as a moral compass of the Senate, where he guided the opposition with principle and intellect. In 2022, he ascended to the position of governor of Siaya County, a move seen by many as a return home to build and serve at grassroots. James Orengo's legacy is not in wealth, nor in popularity contests. It lies in the battle scars of democracy he wears, the fearless integrity he has maintained, and the rule of law he has defended at all costs. He is among the few Kenyan politicians never credibly linked to corruption. His name commands reverence, even from political foes. His speeches, delivered in flawless English or poignant Dholuo, often leave chambers silent, reflective, and moved. He has never been a man of many riches, but he is wealthy in conviction. Today, as Kenya continues to wrestle with the ghosts of inequality, tribalism, and corruption, men like James Orengo remain pillars of conscience, walking reminders of a generation that fought not for privilege, but for principle. He is not perfect. He has made political miscalculations and faced criticism. But no one can deny that James Aggrey Orengo is and always will be a national treasure. And when the history of Kenya is written by honest hands, his name will not be whispered. It will be etched in bold ink with reverence. Subscribe, share, and like for more like this political deep dives and Kenyan history.